partner. Preacher 357 here, and I feel like a cowboy today because I've got me a real shooting iron right here. Yes, sir, I got me a cowboy gun just like the ones they used in the Old West. It's got an aluminum frame and a Cerakote finish and MIM trigger and hammer, 22 long rifle caliber, just like the Desperados in the Old West. Yes, sir, I feel like a cowboy with this in my hand. Got me a Ruger Wrangler here, and don't get no better than that. I feel just like a cowboy. In fact, I'm gonna have me a showdown at high noon, and then I'm gonna ride off into the sunset. All right, guys, got a confession to make. Know it's gonna be hard to believe, but I'm not a real cowboy. I know I've got the hat on, but I'm not actually a cowboy. And this is not actually a real cowboy gun, because they didn't have aluminum frames or Cerakote finishes. They weren't 22 caliber. They didn't have MIM parts in them, mold injected metal. They didn't do that back then. But it's a lot like a cowboy gun. Now, the original ones were a little bit more like this Italian replica here. This is a replica of a Colt 1873 single action Army. Not a real one. Plan on getting a real one at some time. But so far I haven't sprung the money to buy one of the real ones. But I do have this replica here. I believe was made by Uberti. And it's in 45 Colt. So that's kind of what you expect these to be. And if you're going to have a single action Army, have a cowboy gun, right? But instead, we have got the Ruger Wrangler here, which is a fairly new offering. It's been out a few years now, in which Ruger basically took their single 6 frame, which now they're single 10s and single whatevers, depending on what you get. But they basically took that size grip frame, and they made it with aluminum, which makes it lighter, makes it cheaper. They use the MIM parts, makes it lighter, makes it cheaper, whatever. To produce a gun that is inexpensive to plink with, because they've had the Ruger single 6 for years. Great gun. Don't have one myself, but they are great little guns. But they're not inexpensive. Those guns will run you, $700-800 at least, probably. And so if you're wanting a little plinker, a lot of people just aren't willing to put that kind of money into a 22 long rifle to plink with. And there is a company out there called Heritage that makes a little inexpensive revolver that's $175, $200 that you could just come out and have fun with, just to plink with, and kind of feel like a cowboy, right? Kind of reminds you of the days when you were a kid and you sat on the couch and watched Westerns in the afternoon, and just have a little bit of fun. And so Ruger, designed a gun to compete with the Heritage, which I don't have a Heritage. I've shot the Heritage. But it's been a while, so I really can't even make a really good comparison. But at some point, I plan on buying one of those. I mean, they're not very expensive, and we'll try to do a little bit of a comparison between those as well. But that's what I've got today, is this Ruger Wrangler, and I got the two-tone. I don't know if you call this a pinto or what you'd want to call this, but it's a two-tone. It's got the Cerakote finish, which is like a silver finish, with the blued cylinder, and just the basic black grips there. It's a no-nonsense little gun. That's the one thing about the Heritage. If you buy one of the Heritage guns, the finish on those looks a lot better. Those are more of a nice-looking gun. That don't necessarily mean they're made any better, but they are a nice-looking little gun. They really look more high-end, even though they're not. Whereas Ruger made this one to be very, very much a practical, no-nonsense kind of little gun. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't need anything fancy to come out here and have a good time with. So I just thought we'd do a little bit of shooting and just, see how we like it. I love 22s. I like to come out and plink with 22s. It's a lot of fun. It don't cost an arm and a leg. Doesn't break the bank. My wife's not ready to strangle me afterwards. So why don't we do a little bit of that now and see how this thing shoots. We might even try to lob some over there at that target at 80 yards. Why? Well, I don't know. It's probably a wasted effort. But, you know, I'm often doing things that don't make a lot of sense. So, why change now? And obviously, unlike some of your original Cowboy guns, you don't have to load 5 in this one. This is a transfer bar safety in here. So this is perfectly safe to load 6 in. In fact, even that replica I've got right there has got a transfer bar in it, so it's even safe. It's not one of the more authentic actions. But, you know, you don't have to worry about loading the 5 in here and worry about dropping it and all that. It's got safeties on it, so it's modern in that sense. It looks old-fashioned. You know, that's kind of the way I like things. I like them to look old-fashioned, but not necessarily be old-fashioned. It's kind of like me. I'm kind of old-fashioned, even though I'm really not that old. Well, I don't think I'm that old. Sometimes I feel that old. It just depends on what day you catch me. But let's do a little shooting here. I'm going to try one-handed. I am not the best shooter one-handed. I have always shot two-handed. It's kind of odd for me to shoot one-handed, but these kind of guns were originally designed for a one-handed shooting, so let's see what we can do here. I don't know if these sights are even on. This is the first time I've shot this thing. A little bit low there. Well, still looks like I'm going low, doesn't it? There we go. I'm not sure where that one went. Can't find the range. I think that's it, though. May have to try two-handed just to get the feel of it. So let's try a few more rounds here. We're not going to do a lot of shooting. I'm not expecting to do a very long video with this gun. I don't think there's a whole lot that really has to be said about it. There's been a lot of people buying these things. They've been very popular since they came out, which is to be expected. You know, they're inexpensive. They're only a little over a couple $100. So, I mean, a little bit more expensive than the Heritage, but not a lot more expensive. So, let me try two-handed, see if I get a little bit better. Did I miss a chamber? I may have missed a chamber. Yeah, it was just me being a little shaky one-handed. Clearly I need to practice more at that. But I get out here having fun and just shooting, doing what I always do, and to be honest, a lot of times I don't think about it. I know a lot of people do their training where they always make sure they shoot with both hands one-handed, with their offhand as well. But I don't do a lot of training. I do just a lot of plinking. I shoot for fun for the most part. Now, I've had classes, and I'm not running down training at all. It's a good thing. And if you got the time and the money to put into it, I think it's a good thing to do. And I've had several classes over the years. It's just, I come out here and plink for fun. I come out and shoot for fun. There's more to life than training for something bad to happen. I mean, if you spend your whole life doing nothing but training for the worst case scenario, when are you ever actually enjoying life? Now, I mean, it could be fun doing that. Maybe that's your hobby. Maybe you enjoy preparing for the worst case scenario. But personally, I just like to come out here and shoot. I just like to come out here and smell the gunpowder and put some rounds down range and hear that ping. And, you know, it's just a good time. I'm going to go out here at 80 yards. I hadn't done much shooting up here. I'm just going to see what happens when I go out here. There's another one. Did I not? No, that was just a light primer strike, so all that was. Just didn't go off. That's all there was to it. That one either. Coming close. Well, that fell a little short. I mean, it wasn't as far off as what I thought I'd be. I had some that were actually fairly close there. So I might lob 6 more over there, just to see if I can do any better. You know, you ain't got nothing else to do you? I ain't got nothing else to do. So why not? In fact, when I shut that camera off and let you guys go and y'all leave, most of the time I shoot more. Believe it or not. I usually don't have my fill. By the time I'm done shooting the video, I'm still wanting to shoot more. Hard to believe, I know. Let's try one more batch of 6 here. Yeah. Good night. How did... I think I hit it. I believe I did. Have to check the video later, but... Yeah, I missed that though, didn't I? Missed it again. Very strange, because it feels like I'm steady, it feels like I'm right on, but I guess it's just a little different sight picture or something holding with one hand like that. And obviously I'm not as steady. Two-handed's always more steady than one. That's why instructors teach you to shoot two-handed. Always have more control. If you don't practice very much, like I don't, then you're really not going to be very good one-handed. We'll go out there at 35, see if I can hit it at 35. I think I hit it. Seems like that's a little easier to hit. Of course, that Cowboy's turned sideways. I don't know if you can see it in the video or not, but the Cowboy's turned sideways, so he's a little harder to hit than you would expect, considering his size. It's hitting pretty good. It's actually hitting pretty good. It's not a bad little shooting gun. Not a bad shooting gun at all. I really wish I knew more to tell you about it. I mean, it's a Ruger, but unlike a lot of Rugers, it doesn't feel like a chunk. I mean, comparing the size here of like the single action Army, which is really not even that big a gun compared to, you know, like a Super Blackhawk or, you know, some of these Freedom Arms or some of these gigantic guns that the BFR guns or whatever they are. You know, those are really big single actions. You can see here, this is a little tiny gun. Now, it's not as tiny as a Bearcat. Ruger makes a little 22 called a Bearcat that's significantly smaller than this. Those are little bitty tiny guns, but this is the same size as their single 6. All right, let's see if we can hit some of these other targets here. I missed it. Yeah. Well, where am I holding? If I'm going. There we go. Yeah, it can't hardly tell where it's going though. That's the bad part of 22. A lot of times it's hard to see where it hits because it doesn't do a lot when it hits. Unless you hit in the dirt or something below the target, it's hard to tell where it actually goes. It doesn't disturb the foliage behind very much, so it's hard to see where it went. But you know I got to keep shooting until I hit all these targets. I mean, that's just a given, so. Let's try this little 6-inch plate now. There we go. All right. Having to hold to the left just a hair and a little bit higher than I like. But that's where it's printing, so. Just have to use a little bit of that Kentucky windage, and it shoots pretty good. You know, as single actions go, that's not too bad. for the fixed sight single actions, a lot of them, even the Colts, tend to be not exactly right on. I knew that when I pulled the trigger. I knew it was off when I pulled the trigger, and yet I pulled it anyway. All right, guys, I'm going to put 6 more rounds downrange. And then I'm going to let you guys go, because there's really just not a lot that I know to say about this gun. I like it. It shoots well. It's fun to plink with. The finish leaves something to be desired to me. You know, it's clearly Cerakote. I mean, from a distance, you probably can't tell. It probably looks like just bare metal or stainless or maybe nickel or whatever it might look like. But, I mean, when you get up and look at it, it looks like Cerakote. Which is what it is, which is fine. You know, it's a durable finish, I guess. But it's not pretty. In the aesthetics department, it leaves something to be desired. But I understand they're trying to cut costs, but I would prefer if it had actually been blued. If they could have at least done that. Or, you know, come out with some sort of finish that looks like bluing at least. I don't know, but anyway, it is what it is. I can't hardly see this front sight though. On this white target. Well, you know my rule. Can't end on a miss. So it means I've got to at least put 1 more round in here. If I'm going to put 1 more in here, I might as well put 6 more in here. So I'm going to load up. I might as well just load them all. And if I miss on the last round again, I guess we'll load 6 more. And we'll just do that all night. You guys ain't got nowhere to be, do you? I don't think so. I can't imagine anything being more important than watching me shoot this gun. All right, I'm going to try out here at 35 one more time. Yeah. Well, where that's going. There we go. I guess that was it. And I hit on the last round. Good news. That means y'all can go eat supper or whatever you plan on doing that I interrupted. Sorry I disturbed the peace and bothered you with this video, but I thought you might want to see it. The Ruger Wrangler. It's a nice little gun. I enjoy shooting it. As I said, there are some things that I think would be improved. I might be willing to pay a little bit extra, you know, for a little bit better finish. Some people might not, but maybe they should come out with another option. A little higher end Wrangler that has a few more of the higher end details to it. You know, that wouldn't be a bad thing either, I don't think. You know, because everyone wouldn't want to pay $300 for this gun with a better finish, but I might. It might be worth that to me to get away from the Cerakote into something else. But maybe some nicer grips on there, some wood grips. But we understand exactly what Ruger was looking for, what they were trying to do. They were trying to cut costs and get it down as low as they could to compete with Heritage. But as I said, I think Heritage has them beat. You know, Heritage offers a lot of different looks to their guns with lots of different grips, and you know, they're just a nicer looking firearm overall. But anyway, guys, one thing I forgot to mention when we started the video though is look in the description, and I've got some links there. One for the GOA for a discounted membership. You can join up there and get in the fight, help us protect our gun rights. Because they're always under fire these days. There's always those people who are trying to spread fear and trying to scare people into taking away our liberties. And, you know, that's a horrible thing, but it's the truth of the political landscape that we have in our country today, that there are those who don't like us to have freedom. They want the government to control people because it makes them feel safe and secure. And the fact is, there is no such thing as safety and security. The government cannot protect you from evil. Evil is just a fact of life. It exists. So the best thing to do is to be able to protect yourself. And so, you know, there's a link there for the GOA for that discounted membership. I also have a link there for the TFA, the Tennessee Firearms Association. If you live in Tennessee like I do, then you can join up with the TFA and help support our rights here in Tennessee. They do a lot of work here in this great state to secure our rights on a state level as well. And the GOA, they work hand in hand together. So I'd encourage you, if you live in Tennessee, to join both groups. But anyway, guys, I appreciate you coming out. God bless you. Y'all take care of yourselves, and we'll see you next time.